Not even now? Not even now? Okay, yeah. Alright, so like I was saying, figures of speech. क्या होता है कैट में कहाँ
Alright, so
relevant है?
like I was saying, figures of speech.
It's relevant in CAT because sometimes it's included in RC as of course among the options. बहुत बार question में आता है in the second para which figure of speech has been used by the author or which figure of speech has been predominantly used by the author in the passage. So that's how it's important. And for other exams आपको direct questions आते ही आते हैं figures of speech में. कौन से exams में? Symbiosis के exam में SNAP में आता है, IIFT में आता है, CMAT में आता है. So basically, what are figures of speech? And of course, that way, alankar. Figures of speech are the elements which are used to make the prose or the poetry more attractive. The most common figures of speech जो आपको पता है, parts of speech is a part of grammar. This is not parts of speech. Most common figure of speech जो ज़्यादातर लोगों को पता है वो क्या है? Metaphor and simile. So we will directly look at the questions and understand the figures of speech that we come across. ठीक है? तो सबसे पहले जो मैंने कहा कि सबसे ज़्यादा कॉमन कौन सा है मेटाफोर और सिमिली राइट तो मेटाफोर क्या होता है और सिमिली क्या होता है सबसे पहले इन बोथ द केसेस वी मेक कंपैरिजंस राइट बट डिफरेंस क्या होता है व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग अ कंपैरिजन एंड इन केस ऑफ अ सिमिली वी यूज एज और लाइक कि क्लियर है कि हाँ आप कंपैरिजन ही कर रहे हो फॉर एग्जांपल शी इज लाइक अ टाइग्रेस और ही फॉट लाइक अ टाइगर राइट टॉम वर्क्स लाइक अ डोंकी है ना तो ये क्या हो गया सिमिली दैट्स सिमिली हाँ और मेटाफर क्या हो गया टीना stays up all night she is an owl अब यहाँ पे we are not saying that she is like an owl we're saying she is an owl let's assume that it's not really an owl it's Tina a person but आप कह रहे हो she is an owl तो ये हुआ metaphor this is a comparison where we are not using words like as and like so it's called indirect comparison she is an owl which actually means she is like an owl so that's a metaphor वो होता है metaphor तो simile और metaphor के बीच का difference यही है कि simile में as and like use होता है metaphor में नहीं होता है cliche what is cliche cliche is also a word in English a simple word in English cliche is something which has been repeated often oft repeated a statement that has been often repeated nothing new about it is a cliche and what is personification personification is basically treating a non-living entity like a living entity that's personification उसको personify कर रहे हैं उसको human traits दे रहे हैं person बना रहे हैं in a way that's personification हाँ? personification क्या होता है where should I write it yeah I'll write it here ये देखिए personification क्या होता है treating non-living entity all right as a living one so basically giving the traits of living entities to non-living entities or treating non-living entity as living ones that's personification एक non-living entity को living entity का traits देना या फिर एक non-living को living की तरह treat करना traits देना is personification उसको personify करना उसको person बनाना उसको life देना is personification one example of personification that had come in Snap सिम्बासिस का जो आपका टेस्ट होता है 2012 was the icy hands of death touched him. So this is personification because of course death is not a living entity. पर डेथ का रियल में हैंड्स तो होता नहीं है बट फिर भी आप कह रहे हो आई सी हैंड्स ऑफ डेथ तो डेथ को क्या कर रहे हो पर्सोनिफाई कर रहे हो एंड दिस क्वेश्चन लाइक आई सेड हैड कम इन स्नैप द बैसिस का जो टेस्ट होता है दिस पर्सोनिफिकेशन राइट ओके एंड व्हाट इज हाइपरबली हाइपरबली HIPER HYPR I'm sorry POLE hyperbole what is it hyperbole is exaggeration थोड़ा बढ़ा चढ़ा के बोलना exaggerate करना is hyperbole hyperbole is exaggeration. Then there is alliteration. What is alliteration? Not alteration, right? Alliteration as a figure of speech. First letter of consecutive words are kind of the first letter is repeated. For example, if I say she sells seashells, तो इंग्लिश में तो फर्स्ट लेटर रिपीट हो रहा है ना हिंदी में स एंड श हो जा रहा है बट इंग्लिश में तो S right so this is alliteration okay I'm not talking about tongue twister as such I'm actually talking about alliteration all right she sells seashells right so S alliteration right तो क्या क्या देखा आपने आपने देखा simile metaphor alliteration 3 hyperbole 4 personification 5 cliche 6 then there is oxymoron as you can see here oxymoron क्या होता है as a figure of speech when two opposite words are placed together they are placed side by side and the phrase that they give is meaningful it has meaning it's not meaningless it's not nonsensical two opposite words are placed together and the phrase that they give the phrase that we make out of them is meaningful all right that's oxymoron for example oxymoron का क्या example होगा the dog is pretty ugly. This is an oxymoron. Why? Because pretty and ugly are opposite words, but when they are placed together, it makes a meaningful phrase. Right? Opposite words हैं, but साथ में रखा है तो एक meaningful phrase बन रहा है. So that's an oxymoron. Alright, so based on all the figures of speech that we discussed right now, the first 10 questions can easily be solved. तो देखते हैं the answer of question number 1. These walls have ears. तो ये क्या है अगर आप देखें तो लिटरली तो वॉल्स के ईयर्स नहीं होते हैं ना ईयर्स इज अ ह्यूमन ट्रेट अ लिविंग एंटिटी का ट्रेट वॉल्स के लिए आप यूज कर रहे हो एक लिविंग एंटिटी का ट्रेट तो ये क्या हो गया पर्सोनिफिकेशन ऑलराइट his room was a junk pile